Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today I have a special guest. This is Cami from Last Day of Normal. How are you doing today, Cami?
I'm doing really good. Yeah.
Good. So, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about your story, how you came to find low carb and so forth, and what challenges you had going into it, that kind of thing.
Okay. Well, this is the story of my whole life then. So my mom got cancer when I was 8 years old. She was pregnant and her baby died, and she went to the hospital and she says, I'm not leaving the hospital till we find out what's wrong. And they figured out that she had cancer. And so she had surgeries and she had treatments, and it took 8 years until she finally died. So my whole youth, my whole childhood was watching somebody suffer and be in pain. It was pretty traumatic. And so my whole life I've wanted to be healthy. And as you know, we all grow up in a very we've grown up in a very imperfect world. And so I know that there's a perfect diet out there, but I could never figure out what the perfect diet was, because we're being told so many different things. I tried to do vegan. I tried to do, all the different things, but nothing made me feel good. I got polycystic ovarian syndrome when I was very young. Like by the time I was a teenager, I had irregular cycles, and I knew I was going to have a problem getting pregnant. So I've been infertile, my whole life. Wasn't able to have children, and then so I'm getting distracted by my own story. So it took my mom a long time to die, and that was horrible. And I didn't want that to happen to me. So I wanted to figure out a way, but I knew that I wasn't on the right path because I wasn't feeling good and I wasn't doing well and I was gaining weight and trying all the different diets. It just didn't help. It didn't get me to where I wanted to be. So I did end up using metformin, and I did get pregnant and had a baby when I was 39 years old. I had a surprise baby, which has been fun. But we had adopted two children before that, so we have three daughters. And so I thought, oh great, I'm normal. I'm like everybody else now. But then I stopped taking the metformin. I stopped doing all the other things, and I kind of go back to being like everybody else, uh, being back to being sick again, gaining lots of weight. And I found intermittent fasting, and I really liked intermittent fasting. I liked it a lot. I did it for like 2 years, and I got a lot of good results. A lot of problems cleared up, but it just got to be too hard. You can't always intermittent fast and then eat bad foods. You're still carb addicted, and then you're not eating. So you're having cravings, and it got really hard, and I stopped enjoying intermittent fasting. So I looked up online. I'd kind of heard about a fasting mimicking diet, and I said that sounds good. What can I be eating but still almost be fasting? And what pulls up when you type in fasting mimicking diet? It's carnivore, because you're eating and you're almost fasting. I wanted to get into autophagy while also being able to eat. And carnivore is what pulled up. And then you start watching Dr. Chafee, Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Sean Baker. I started listening to podcasts everywhere, just absorbing a ton of information. And I decided, my husband was out of town, and I decided that I was going to try carnivore. And so the very next time I ate, I just didn't include any other food. I just ate meat. So right away, I immediately went carnivore and had super, super good results really quick. I started losing weight. I started feeling better, but not everything cleared up. Not everything went away, because I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Um, and from what I hear, we are really hard to cure. we take a long time, the thyroid, the Hashimoto's patients. So I am still working on certain things, but other things have cleared up. It's kind of a mixed bag.
And how long have you been on the carnivore diet now?
Since March of 2023, so that's like 9.5 months now. So I
Okay.
started at 244 pounds, and I'm down to 189 today. My husband and I are doing a 1 week lion diet challenge on my channel. So he has not been carnivore 100%. He eats more meat than normal. But so this week he's going from omnivore to carnivore, and today's day 2 for him, and he is suffering quite a bit. Which just it makes me giggle because it's just funny. It's kind of mean to be laughing, but it's a little funny. He's not happy.
So that brings a good question. When you started carnivore, did you just jump right in, or did you ease yourself into it?
I do not know the meaning of easing, so I just absolutely jumped right in. I felt a little sick for, maybe a couple days, kind of had some headaches, and then I figured out the electrolytes and salt, and I was fine. He he has been so up and down that, and he did lose a ton of weight because he's a man, and it's unfair that men lose so much weight so fast. But he he has lost a ton of weight, but it's creeping back on. He's gained like 10 pounds from his lowest, and he's not happy about it. So he wants to try again. But I think we should have eased him into it because he's not loving it instead of going straight lion.
Yeah. All right. Um, so with the Hashimoto's uh, disease, so that I don't know a whole lot about it. I've heard about it. I know Dr. Barry's wife has that, right? Um, so how does that work? So it's an overactive thyroid, or is it underactive? I'm
Mine
not
is
familiar.
underactive. So it's autoimmune, which means that my body is attacking it. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to try carnivore and to get into autophagy is maybe I can keep my body from attacking my thyroid. Maybe I can heal. And I I thought it would get better, but if you damage it too much, you can't heal it anymore. So I just had a autoimmune like antibody test for thyroid, and my body is still attacking my thyroid. So that kind of makes me think that whatever's going wrong isn't necessarily food based. It might be, I don't know, mold or something like that, something that I'm not dealing with right now. But it also could just be it takes a lot more time. I've had this for 20 years, so it's likely that my thyroid is destroyed and I will need to take medicine forever. But I still don't want it to keep having antibodies. I want to figure out what's going on and get to the root of it. But I think there's going to be maybe a lot more research needed before I figure it out.
Yeah. So your doctor then, have you talked to them about what you're doing diet wise? Since you probably have to, talk to your doctor a lot with having Hashimoto's. So
Yeah.
how does that work? Have you talked a lot about your diet with them?
She's she is my endocrinologist, and she does not love it. She thinks that all of the benefits that I've experienced are simply because I lost weight and not because I've lost over 50 pounds. And it has nothing to do with the food that I'm eating. She is a eat less, move more believer, and so I got a different doctor because she wouldn't even run an antibody test. She won't run any other tests. She's not curious. She doesn't want to know anything beyond what her tests show her. Even though my hair is still falling out and I still don't have a ton of energy, and it's really hard for me to build muscle and things like that. It just didn't seem right that she didn't care enough to run any tests that I asked for. So I got a DO doctor, and he is willing to do that. So I'm going to switch over to a new doctor. Yeah, she really thinks I have to eat carbs, but I
Mm.
haven't for 9 months, and I've been fine. So
So, what would you say a typical day looks like eating wise for you?
that is so easy because I pretty much only eat two things when I'm eating regular and one thing when I'm eating lion. We have a brisket hamburger mix that our local grocer sells, and that's what I eat. I eat hamburgers and I fry them up like little hockey pucks. They're like burned. My husband thinks they're awful, and I love them. And that's what I eat. When I'm online, that's all I eat. When I'm not, I have eggs. And so it's funny is that I think it's the eggs that are preventing me from losing weight, because as soon as I go lion and I just cut the eggs out, I start to lose weight.
Hmm.
But I kind of like the eggs. I just need a little variety, but I don't know. I guess if you want what you want, you got to give up that extra stuff.
Yeah. And then what do you drink? Do you just drink water or do you drink something else or?
I drink water with electrolytes and iodine. And
Okay.
that's what I supplement is just iodine and the electrolytes. I do like a keto chow electrolyte drops.
Okay. And then do you eat like once a day, twice a day, three times a day? How does that work usually?
Um Mostly twice a day. Like we eat pretty early in the morning, like 9ish. And then 4 or 5ish, I'll eat again. And then that's normally it. Unless, like weird stuff comes up, but that's mostly the two times.
Okay. And then you mentioned that you eat lion diet a lot. How often would you say that you do that as opposed to, adding the eggs in?
When I get in a slump or when you stop losing weight, what do they call that? A stall. When I get in a stall and it's been like 2 months and I'm like, okay, I need some progress. I want to change. I want to get better. I do lion diet and I'll drop 10 pounds and then I stop because I feel like I need the variety. And then I kind of stall out again. So I'm doing a week with my husband. Um, but I'll probably continue on. He will probably go back to more variety.
Hmm. Okay. And then you don't drink coffee or anything either? It's just plain
I
water?
don't.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I never have. So
Okay.
no coffee.
All
Nope,
right.
just water.
Okay. So outside of the losing the weight and you've been working on your Hashimoto's, were there any other health related issues that you had? Did you have any like issues with blood pressure or anything like that?
I had fatty liver, but a lot of these I cleared up by doing intermittent fasting,
Hmm.
which I think actually goes along quite well with carnivore, right? You're creating a time period for your body to rest from processing food. And carnivore does the same thing by eliminating all the bad food that your body needs to process. It gives your body that break. So, like fatty liver, pre-diabetes, chronic, like GERD, like a reflex. I did a 5-day fast one time, and like all of those things kind of went away. The GERD especially. Just all of the random aches and pains of getting to be 50 years old. All of that just kind of has gotten better. I think I've heard you say that is that you're still your age and you still kind of get achy sometimes. Um, but I feel so much better. Like I had bursitis in my shoulder and my hip, and it just doesn't keep me awake at night anymore. I can sleep. I can still feel that it's there, but it doesn't keep me awake at night, which is huge. Being able to sleep is really big.
Do you ever take any medication for it, like any aspirin or anything? Did
I
you
don't.
do that before or just you've just never
Um,
really done it?
There was a time where I had to, and it was really bad.
Hmm.
That was a long time ago, though. I like in my 30s, I was on something like 11 medications, and I realized that they were causing me to need more medications. So I just decided to stop all of them. Some of them were antidepressants, and I didn't feel any better or any worse when I was on them or when I was off them. They were very just ineffective. So why take them and then need to take another thing and another thing and another thing? Because it
Yeah.
was ridiculous. Yeah.
So I know some people, when you talk to them about carnivore, and then sometimes they'll have something else, they'll slip up, or they just decide to have something else, that they'll say that when they have something else, it will cause like a flare up of like bursitis or something like that. Have you noticed that if you've ate something else, or have you just been really good and just haven't, strayed?
I have, we had some meat in the freezer. It was like a pastrami or something like that. We pulled that out a couple months in and we ate it and we both felt sick immediately, like for hours. And cheese, like some kind of cheese thing I ate one time did that. But other than that, I really haven't cheated or except on my birthday, I had a piece of chocolate. And then on Thanksgiving, there was some sugar-free desserts. Well, they said they were sugar-free, but I ate it, and then I'm like, this is really sweet. It had honey, but in their mind, that's sugar-free. I'm like, okay.
Hmm.
So I tried that, and I have been kind of having more cravings since then, but I never did really go into like massive amounts of pain from just that little incident.
And so you just mentioned cravings. Do you ever get like cravings where you decide to snack on something, whether it's like bacon or something or whatever, just to get by? Or are you pretty strict, just a couple meals a day?
I I have we made what's it called? Beef jerky from hamburger. And we did put a little homemade barbecue sauce that my husband made. And the barbecue sauce had like, it was like 2 cups and it had a little bit of sugar in it. So then that dispersed amongst 20 pounds of meat. So my beef jerky only has a tiny, tiny bit of sugar in it, but I crave it. I crave it a lot. So that might be considered my candy. I do use that to snack on quite a bit. But when I'm doing lion this week, I'm not going to be having that.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I will snack on that. That's instead of bacon, I just go get that beef jerky out of the fridge and eat that. It's actually really good. But next time I make it, I won't put anything. I won't put barbecue sauce in it or anything. Just keep it clean so I can continue to eat it whenever I want. But that makes traveling a breeze to have something that you can grab and take that's already cooked and very easy to eat.
So you mentioned that you've lost around 50 pounds or over 50 pounds, I believe, right? Have you also been checking like measurements? Do you know like your waist and stuff? Have you had
Yes.
measurement decreases, I guess it would be?
There is an app that I use, and it says that overall, from head to toe, I've lost 31 inches since I first measured. But I didn't first measure until like 3 or 4 months in.
Hmm.
So I've lost more than 31 inches. I can
Wow.
tell, like, my legs look smaller. My belly is still big. That's where I genetically carry all my weight. My belly is not changed a ton, but my arms and my legs, I can feel it in my face, and my clothes, my shirts are starting to fit differently. So I'm starting to feel it, but my belly, man, that thing does not want to get smaller.
The belly is definitely the last thing to go.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like my legs are getting pretty small. My wife's like, "Yeah, your legs are getting pretty small, but I don't know why. You have loss in your belly, but not the same rate." I'm like, "I know, I know."
Uh,
Uh,
yeah.
so so with that then, it sounds like either you have or probably pretty soon you're going to have to start looking at new clothes because your clothes are starting to feel kind of big on you, right?
I am so cheap. that I will put a little splice in my pants to bring them in. And I have a sewing machine upstairs. I will fix clothes till they fit. So I just like these are 2XLs and they are getting kind of big. So I'm gonna have to like start clipping up the collars so they don't fall off my shoulders. We'll see. Probably my husband will be so mortified he won't be seen with me and he'll make me buy new clothes.
Yeah, so I do the same thing. It's funny, like this shirt that I'm wearing today is a 4XL tall, and that was like what I had to fit to, comfortably wear something before I started. And now it's just like really big on me. Like you can't really tell, but I mean you
Yeah.
gotta tell her it's really big on me, and I still wear them. I have, as I've shopped a little bit, I've gotten some smaller clothes, but I still tend to wear these a lot, and I haven't gotten a whole lot of clothes. The one thing that I've done more of, I think, is with jeans. Um,
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
I've
You need
gotten
a good
jeans
pair
a
of
few
jeans.
different times. Yeah, the I'd say probably the first 4 or 5, 6 months or so, I was wearing the same pair of jeans, and my wife was like, "You gotta get some new jeans. Those are so baggy." She's like, "You look ridiculous." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, I'll buy jeans like, if you're going through a clearance section and there's jeans for $4 or $5, I'll pick up some smaller sizes that I'm hoping to get into. So I have some in reserve for the future, but
Yeah, that's good. That's
I'm
good.
managing.
All right. Um, so we've talked a lot about like what you eat and so forth and the weight that you've lost, but one thing we haven't talked about is if there's any exercise. And some people they do a lot of exercise, some people don't do any exercise at all, some people do a little bit. So where do you fit in that?
So my whole adult life, I have been so depressed and so low energy and zero motivation that exercise was like a joke. That was never going to happen. And just within the past couple months, I'm watching Dr. Sean O'Mara, and I decide that I'm going to be a sprinter. So I got online and I was looking around, and there were no images, there were no videos of people like me trying to do that exercise. So I got it in my head that I was going to do a video of myself sprinting, and that video is still like the number one video on my channel that anybody watches is this one of me trying to sprint. And everybody said the same thing. They're like, we couldn't find any pictures of people like me sprinting. So I'm out there in all my glory trying to sprint. And it's cracking me up that people are looking to me to learn how to sprint because I don't know anything. But it's cold here now. It's freezing outside. We just had a snowstorm blow through, and so this past weekend, we found an elliptical machine at the thrift store. I got it for like $15. So I put it out on my porch because I still want to make myself go outside and exercise outside. But now I can do my sprints on an elliptical on the porch. So, and then watching you guys on your football challenges with Christy at Meeting Wellness, I'm doing the push-up challenge. And so I did 35 push-ups today. I did
Oh,
it
good.
together, and I seriously I feel there's muscles in there now. It's cracking me up.
Yeah. So can I ask, on day one, how many did you start with?
I did 20, but I'm not doing them on the ground. I'm doing them on like on a not at the wall, but on a counter. So I'm going
Hmm.
down a little bit. I tried one on the ground and it didn't end well.
Yeah.
I can't push back up. Yeah, I started 20 and then like the next day I did two sets of 20 and then today I've done one set of 35 and I'll try it again and see how many I can do to failure. But yeah, like I can feel it. Yeah, I was sore the first couple days, but I feel like maybe I'm getting a little stronger. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you're really close to doubling your number then if you're
Yeah,
from 20 to 35. So if you can get to 40 by the end of the month, that's great. You basically doubled what you could do in 1 month. That'd be awesome. So
yeah,
congratulations. Good job.
yeah. My goal is to do one on the ground. Just one.
Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah. Whatever you can do, it's the great thing about that challenge is um, it's a challenge against yourself, right? So you're just trying to do better than what you did before. So yeah,
Which
that's
is why
great.
I like sprinting, because I'm not out there sprinting fast. I'm out there like other people could probably be like walking and go faster than me sprinting, but I'm going as fast as I can. And so I'm challenging myself. I'm improving myself. And I
Mhm.
really, I'm enjoying it. It's fun.
Yeah, that's great. And those are really the best types of challenges to do because you shouldn't really compare yourself to somebody else, right? You should always compare yourself to yourself and try and get better. Um, so, anything that you can do where you're just trying to do a challenge against yourself and just trying to continually get better. That's what's really gonna be great because you know, you can't really compare yourself to somebody else. Everybody is their own person, and people are coming into it from different levels, right? Like, you might go and watch somebody's video, and they're over there doing 100 push-ups or something, right? But they might have been doing 100 push-ups for months and so forth, right? So you can't look at it and be like, oh gosh, I can only do 10 push-ups. No, you just go at what your pace is, and eventually you're going to get to 15 and then 20 and so forth. Like you've gone from 20 to 35. So that's great.
Yeah. And I watched your video where you're talking about the benefits of the push up and how, that's working muscles in your back, in your arms, in your stomach and legs and all over. So I hadn't really realized that it was going to be such a good, quick, universal muscle builder.
Yeah.
I
I,
tried plank and that wasn't working either. Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, the first couple of days, I was really surprised how much I felt it in my legs. I didn't think that the legs would have that much of an impact, but they really do. So, yeah, I I was the same as you. Those first couple of days, I really, really felt it doing push-ups, but I hadn't done push-ups in a long time. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can feel my muscles, but I'm not in pain. So it feels like a good balance. I feel like I'm building my muscle, but I'm not so sore I can't move.
and then would you say that like the next day you feel good, you don't still feel sore and so forth. That's one of the things I've noticed with carnivore too. Like before carnivore, any type of workout I did, I was still sore the next day, but with carnivore, I'm not sore the next day.
Yeah, that's true. That it reduces that the amount of soreness and the length. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right. So let's turn to your channel a little bit. It's Last Day of Normal, and you can see on the screen at Last Day of Normal is the channel. So anybody watching this video, go ahead and check out the channel. But why don't you tell us a little bit about your channel, why you started the channel, and what you're doing with it?
Oh, I think I was one of those people that got caught up by Carrie Mann at Homestead How, where he's like, "Come on, everybody, start a channel." And I'm always looking for something fun and interesting to do, and I kind of need like a purpose in life, something to get excited about, something to give me meaning and something to do. So that seemed like something fun to do, and so I started it, and I just kind of did a few here and there. And then I kind of started, like, I was ignoring it. And then that sprinting video just started getting a ton of views. And I was like, what is going on here? There may be one or two people in the world that can relate to me, and that I might be able to help some people. I might be able to influence some people for good. And so now I'm having a ton of fun. You start learning, how to build a better thumbnail, and you get some software, and then now I need to get uh, a tripod to hold my phone. Like I want to get all the toys, and I'm just having fun. And so instead of sitting around doing nothing, I'm editing videos. It's something fun to do, and I'm meeting a lot of nice people on the internet um, that are telling me that I'm helping them. And that is like, who doesn't like to hear that? That feels really good.
Yeah. Okay. Um, so I know that you mentioned that your husband's been doing, at least for the last week, he's been doing the Lion Diet Challenge with you. So it sounds like at least you don't have like any challenges at home necessarily with other people trying to eat a regular diet and you're trying to eat the carnivore diet, or do you still have some of that?
We have our 10-year-old daughter at home. Our other two are grown and out of the house, but our 10-year-old is a total carb addict. Like that's all she wants to eat. And I'm a recovering authoritarian parent. So I'm trying not to like crush her free will, but I don't know what to do. She really loves carbs and does not like meat, like doesn't want to eat meat. So I was at one point like, you can have ice cream after you eat an egg. So I would like try and trade carbs for meat to just to get her to eat. And she will eat the egg, she'll eat it, and then she still, even after like weeks of this, does not enjoy meat. So I'm gonna have to up my game. I'm gonna have to get more creative and figure this out. I don't, it's just killing me though. But it doesn't bother me to have her food around. I'm not tempted by it because I don't know, because I've seen suffering. I know what suffering looks like. I've felt suffering, and I do not want to die of cancer. I do not want to get cancer. And now what we're learning, oh, I can't remember, Dr. Siegfried, and all the things that he's teaching us about how cancer runs off of sugar. Cancer is fueled and fed by sugar. I'm never putting that stuff in my body again. I'm not going to feed that.
Hmm. Well, I'll tell you, if you can figure out how to get your daughter to go on carnivore, let me know because I am the only one in my family that is doing
Oh,
carnivore. Everybody else, I mean, I I come home sometimes and there's cupcakes or whatever else on the counter and cookies and yeah, they just made some coffee cake bread stuff for Christmas and so yeah, I have those challenges every day that I have
that
to
would be
deal
hard.
with. And yeah, I can't get anybody to go to this way of eating. And I was hoping that, just leading by example would help, but so far it has not. So let me know if you can figure that one out.
Well, you got to make them get real sick first. They need a reason. So I don't know. I'm not, I don't know what you can do about that, but
Yeah, yeah. Um, all right, so that hasn't been too much of a challenge for you. Has there been any other things that have been really challenging for you with doing carnivore?
the only thing I dislike about being carnivore is the grease splatter all over my kitchen. I do not like doing housework. I'm not good at that. But that stuff makes your kitchen a mess. That's
Yeah,
the
it
only
sure does.
downside. I can eat anything. I do not get I don't get tired of the same food. I like having the eggs, but I can eat hamburger every day, all day. Um, so I don't struggle with that. Like my husband will have hamburger, and then just the thought of having hamburger again at any point ever in his whole future is hard for him. I don't struggle with that. So I can eat the same thing. It's just fuel. It's just fuel to me.
That is great.
Yeah.
All right, so to finish off, is there anything that you would like to tell the audience? Whether it's just something with your journey or just some inspirational thing or anything like that that you'd like to finish off with?
Um, I want everyone to try carnivore because of the mental health benefits. I have my older two daughters. I would love for them to try carnivore. I know that it would help in so many aspects of their life. I feel like these lies that we've been told about food are really like stealing our future, our kids' future. It's just a little scary. It's kind of sad and scary. So I think everyone should try it. Just try it, please.
All right. Thank you, Cami, for coming on today. And I look forward to chatting with you again sometime soon.
All right. Thank you.